Hi, everybody. Welcome to Dr. Cammy and Karen Go Keto, another episode where we're working on a transition from the standard American diet into a ketogenic lifestyle and carnivore lifestyle. Sometimes we play with carnivore. Karen's doing it more than I am. And we are continuing our discussion today about me and my eating off plan and how one of the reasons why, and we're talking about my commitment to my nutrition and fitness coach, Jeff Cotterman of TriSystem, who is absolutely fabulous, and the commitment that I made to him about taking pictures of my food and sending it to him before I eat my food. And I have not been consistent with that. I have not been 100%. I would say I've been closer to 80 or 85%. And when I don't do it, it tends to be food that's not on my plan, that's higher in carbs, and that's highly ultra processed food that I'm binging on. So we wanted to talk a little bit about how one of the reasons why I think I don't do it is because it makes me feel like I'm
Meaning,
being
wait, you don't do your photographs for Jeff.
right. The reason
Or
why I don't do the
photograph and or sending it because you have photographed but not sent.
I have. I'm
That's
getting
yeah.
closer to sending it. I'm now at the point where I'm taking photographs of the food and then I go eat it and then later I send it. So the next step is for me to take the photograph and send it and then eat it. And some of the times I do that even with off-plan food. But I like the sneakiness of it. There's something about being sneaky and feeling like he's not going to know until it's too late. Because I think part of the reason why I feel like if people knew ahead of time, if I called somebody or if people knew ahead of time, they might be able to talk me out of the food that I'm going to eat. And I'm looking forward to that feeling that I get of euphoria when I get that much sugar into my system.
All right, so here's what comes up for me when I hear you say that. When you said it's going to be too late, I heard it's going to be too late to save you. You even finished it and said too late to stop you. So here's my question. You said because I like that feeling more of feeling euphoric, of what the euphoria that eating the sugar brings me. You like it, you love it more than what?
Than being healthy and being thin
Why?
because of the way it makes me feel.
How about because you've never been healthy and thin?
Well, I have been healthy and thin. In 1987, when I was pre-med, before I went to med school,
Were you healthy? I know you were thin.
I probably wasn't totally healthy. Or when I was in med school and I joined Weight Watchers, I lost a lot of weight then. I mean, I don't know what kind of health are you talking about? Are you talking about the relationship with my, narcissistic borderline personality mother? I mean, that's probably the healthiest now than it's ever been. My relationship with the internal dialogues I have in my head and what they say to me and how they beat me up, that's probably better than it's ever been now.
All right, well, but you're the one who chose the words healthy and thin. I'm just asking you about them. So you're choosing euphoria, which, the euphoria sugar brings you, over being healthy and thin.
Absolutely. In that
So
moment.
how do you think about what that means to you when you say sneaking? Because the sneaking is only your conversation. That is nothing. That is just your internal brain talking to yourself saying, I got away with it, right? And the whole point is for you to not get away with it.
Exactly. Well, and in recovery, when I was inpatient for binge eating disorder, they talked about how this is named Ed for eating disorder. And Ed
Okay.
will say all kinds of crazy things like that.
Yeah. And see, that's dangerous because now you're letting somebody else do it, right? You've just projected it to Ed, whoever Ed is, but it's a separate entity from you. It's not Ed, it's you. It is you.
It
And
is the addicted me.
it's not the addicted you, it is you.
Yes, it is.
You are the addicted you.
I am the
There's
addicted
there's
me.
there's no separation of you and addicted you. You are the addicted you, and you will always be the addicted you until when?
I
When you're
die.
not. No, until you're not. There will be a day when you're not the addicted you. There will be, I mean, maybe, I don't know. You get hit by a car, you get thrown overboard on your cruise, yeah, then, you die addicted. But it's not Ed who's telling you to be sneaky. It's your desire to have because the choice for you is I choose euphoria. So you have to look at what can you do in your life to not choose euphoria. You think it's not choosing foods on plan, and it's not. It's choosing no euphoria. You have to choose to be in the wanting, to be in the feeling of I am an uncomfortable. And I can say that easily because I have to choose I'm sure you think it's silly for me to say I can't stop eating my breakfast out. But it is I can't think of a time when I didn't eat breakfast out, ever. I eat breakfast out.
I could see how that would be very difficult. There's a whole ritual around it.
There's ritual, and I told you when we were off camera that I chose to eat at Emily's Pancake House, and then gave that up, and I chose to eat at McDonald's, and then I chose to eat at Mrs. V's. But if I want to lose the remaining weight that I need to lose, I have to go carnivore. I have to eat ribeye steaks. I don't want to eat ribeye steaks in the morning. And I can go without eating food. I do OMAD. I just do OMAD in the morning. So I'm going to have to shift my OMAD to afternoon or, like 11:30. And my euphoria is generated or whatever. The dopamine rush that I get is from knowing there are people there that take care of me, that I'm friendly with, that bring me food, cook me food, bring me food. They know me, they know my order. I get to the table, my iced tea is already sitting there. They wonder where I am if I'm not there for a couple of days. And that is a ingrained feeling that that's a feeling that I get. It's ingrained in me. I like that feeling.
Like you matter.
Yeah. And my dad was the same way. My dad loved to eat out at restaurants. That's one of the places, it was never a big deal. We ate out a lot. And Tim, my husband who's passed away, he always said, "Can you just stop eating out? Eat out less." It's like it's not that easy. But I have to make that commitment. So I am going to put things in place so that every morning I do something other than eating out. And what I have to do is if I end up in the parking lot of Mrs. V's or McDonald's or Emily's, I got to do something different, right? I've got to bring awareness to it and change my pattern and my pattern and my path, right?
So have you been trying to do that yet? Have you, because you're aware of it, right?
I have not tried it because
Well, you've
I
been
want to,
buying the ribeye and bringing it home, right?
right. I guess that is an attempt,
Mm-hmm.
but I think not. I think for me, making changes sometimes just takes a little while, right? So if I get into the habit of buying the steaks, that's one step closer to doing it, right? Just like you're one step closer by taking the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to acknowledge for your situation that it's the euphoria that you have to give up.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and that's a really valid point. It's not that I'm eating on plan, it's that I'm giving up the euphoria.
And finding a strategy that allows you, it's not going to be the same euphoria, but finding the things, you've described this before as you've made this commitment, right? You've made this decision to do it. That's a whole other topic, like going back to finding out why you've made that decision, because that's where you really have to stop it. It's like whatever that decision is what's causing you to say, I want that euphoria, right? And like for me, it could be that commercial for the Coca-Cola where they're pouring
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
drink over
The
the ice and
ice
the
and all
bubbles.
that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
Yep.
now I want one, right? That's how it is.
Yeah.
And I do, fortunately, sometimes when I get in line at McDonald's to buy that Diet Coke, I do get the words out of unsweetened iced tea, instead of Diet Coke, even though my purpose of being there. That's a strategy I have in place, right? So,
Good
but
job.
but for you to look at it, that's why the awareness, when you take the picture of the food and the awareness that comes with it, maybe Jeff is not the one that you need to stop you, right? You need somebody else to stop you. You need something else to stop you,
Hmm.
and maybe more,
Well,
because
I was just going to say that we were talking off tape too about our future selves and how we're both working on developing idea of having a future self. Is that what you call it?
yes, shout out to Alex Hormozy, who's a fun guy to watch on
Yeah.
YouTube. Hmm.
Yeah. So that's something too that you need to think about and grow and flex that muscle, your future self muscle, so that you might have some ability to fight off some of this desire for euphoria. And also the other thing too is acts of loving kindness, what I call them ALKs. Going to the jacuzzi, taking a cold shower, to get that dopamine hit, resting when you need to rest, things like that that will help you be stronger when you're in your moments of weakness.
Well, and I feel that possibly for you, Cami, you have more of a commitment to not being able to do this than to being able to do it. Even though your progression is you still lost 5 pounds, right, when you weighed in. Um, and for a lot of people, that would give you that would, I would think, give you the motivation to stay on plan, but it's the exact opposite for you. That gives you the motivation to eat off plan.
Well, we had talked about this previously. We could do it in another video about hanging off the edge with a rope.
Okay, let's do that.
All right, guys.
All right,
Stay
Cammy's
tuned
going to
for
talk
hanging off
about
the
hanging off
edge
the
with
edge.
on,
All
holding
right,
onto a rope.
bye.